I want to start with a little game that we call, well, I just created it last night, but this is what we call it, Grade That Hire. All right, we know the coaching carousel is in full swing and not just for Fansville. So I'm going to give you the team. You give me the grade and a short explanation on why you gave said grade. Cool?
All right, I'm good for that.
All right, we're going to start off. Here we go. Auburn, with what Hugh Freeze is doing right now. Grade that hire, Brandon.
A-. I love what they're doing recruiting right now. I mean, you should be doing that at Auburn. It's amazing what Brian Harsin wasn't doing while there. And I think the only hire that would have made more sense and maybe fit better would have been Lane Kiffin. But Hugh Freeze, I know him well, and it's a fantastic hire.
Yeah, to quote Dr. Evil, it's frickin' freezing in here right now. All right, here we go. Brandon Marcello, Cincinnati hires Scott Satterfield. Grade that hire.
C-. Louisville was doing everything they could possibly to get his recruiting going, giving him more money to help build a recruiting staff and all this. And instead, he was looking to leave for South Carolina a couple of years ago and then trying to get out with Cincinnati. He never really got along with the fans there, really didn't have a lot of great results, even with some great talent, especially Malik Cunningham. And now he's off to Cincinnati, and I think Cincinnati's probably not going to be doing too well here over the next few years, especially as they get in the Big 12.
I agree. Do you think that Cincinnati bailed Louisville out? That's what it looks like to me.
Oh, yeah. They saved them the money, number one, and then they got their dream hire, Jeff Brom. I mean, talk about a fantastic Christmas.
Yeah, it's a good luck Chuck situation for sure. All right, Colorado hires primetime Deion Sanders. Grade that hire.
Oh, A+ for them because they were in the absolute dumps right now. I think Deion is going to come in there and just absolutely revitalize that roster. They're going to have 40, 50 new players going into next season. And not to say they're going to be winning right away, but they'll get to a bowl game probably next year, depending on how things go with this transfer portal. And the question is just the longevity of it. But listen, Colorado needed a spark because I don't think anything was going to get them going with the way their hires have been working out, because I think they've actually made some good hires here recently. Deion's the guy that can go in there and just immediately light the fire.
Yeah, I've heard more talk about Colorado football in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 10 years. Last one, Brandon Marcello, Wisconsin hires Luke Fickell. Grade that hire.
I give it a solid A right now. I am so fascinated. This is the most interesting offseason hire for me. It's not Luke Fickell, but him bringing in Phil Longo to run the offense. We're going from the Wisconsin ground and pound to an air raid. Is some air raid concepts? I can't wait to see how that works out. I mean, Wisconsin went out. They got a quote-unquote outsider, but they're so used to winning 10 games a season. They go out and get a guy who does that for, in a different way. But he's going to change things there. How's that going to work out? And I think it's a great decision to do so because the Big Ten's about to change with getting rid of divisions. It's not going to be as easy to get to the Big Ten championship as it was for them when they were in the Big Ten West.
Yeah, it's a total identity change. It's like dating a vegan and then the farmer's daughter. I mean, just two totally
different worlds.
That is a change. Cone, what do you got?
That is a change. Brandon, last time we talked, Lane Kiffin was seemingly on the cusp of taking that Auburn job like you were talking about. It always felt kind of like a Jimmy Sexton special, trying to get a raise. I said it was just as likely Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss, takes the Auburn job, becomes the head coach of the Vikings, or retires from football completely. I have no idea what this guy is gonna do. Do you have any more information on how that situation played out? And do you think now Lane Kiffin finally, for the first time, sort of deciding to stay in one place? Is he in it for the long haul with Ole Miss?
Yeah, Family, I think, tugged at him a little bit in wanting to stay there in Oxford. His kids are going through their formative years. They like living there. Also, I think that he probably just didn't want to get involved in the mess that can be Auburn at times. This was a situation where it was just going to come down to his decision. And the thing for him, though, is he had a few weeks to think about it, and it was during the end of the season. I think that hurt his team a little bit. Even though he thought he could wrangle that all in, that big loss to Arkansas on the road was huge. But to me, and from talking to people, it was as simple as the job was his. If he wanted it at Auburn, he decided to stay because he didn't feel like the jump at this point was worth the potential risks. He feels like he can be successful enough at Ole Miss, be happy with his life. And that's the other thing. We talk about people changing. I mean, Lane has become someone who's much more kind of centered in the sense that he's a little bit more religious right now. He's kind of fallen into that a little bit. That's his strength. That's what he leans on. And I think that he was in a situation where he feels calm with himself. He doesn't feel like he's got to jump to another gig to get what he wants in life.
Yeah, no, I like that. The Florida Gators, we've been talking about them a lot this morning. Billy Napier, 6-7 in his first season in Gainesville, 30-3 loss in the bowl game. What do you expect to see from the Gators next season? Is a 10-win season possible for Billy next year?
Well, they need to win 8-9 games to even keep any heat off of him. Florida and Miami are very similar in the sense that I wasn't expecting them to have much of a season this year. I was expecting them to be more successful than they were. But listen, all throughout that bowl game, even before the bowl game, I was sitting there going, Billy Napier would love to be anywhere but here. And he would love to be on the phone right now recruiting in someone's living room right now. They need to improve that roster. They will. Florida, to me, was like a 3 to 4 year process. Whereas to Miami, I was comparing them to Miami. Miami might be like a 2-year process because their roster was in a better situation. And certainly that's what we saw from Florida this year. I saw a stat today this morning about how Florida has done since the shoe incident, throwing the shoe. They're 1-7 against ranked opponents since then. And that one win was the season opener against Utah. They got to get things turned around there. I think they will, but it's a 3-year process for Billy Napier.
Man, I agree 100%. You could tell in Billy Napier's pregame speech with the team, they show him in the locker room right before they go out. Billy Napier's like, all right, guys, let's just do this together. All right, 1, 2, 3 together. 1, 2, 3. I was like, they're about to get murdered.
All right, you're going to get replaced on 3.
This is your last game on 3. All right, guys, everybody get in here.
All right, Brandon, we're going to go to the Booster Club. But first of all, man, the beard looks phenomenal. I'm a little bit jelly, I'm going to be honest. All right, let's go to David S. All right, hashtag Ask Brandon. That's you. If Florida is unable to land McCall, which I believe they're Grayson McCall, what QB in the transfer portal should we go after?
I don't know. I thought Grayson McCall was Auburn bound, but there's apparently some issues potentially with transferring credits.
Come on, man. Just let the credits transfer. Why can't we just say, yeah, let it transfer? How bad do you want to win? Never happens at Bama.
Yeah, well, it'd be a perfect fit in that offense for Hugh Freeze. I don't quite know. I mean, here's the other thing. There's going to be some more quarterbacks that enter that portal here in this last half of this window. We've got this 45-day window. But also, I know fans don't want to hear this, but in the spring, when the 15-day window opens up, I think we're going to see some other potentially big names out there. And for Florida right now, Grayson McCall is certainly a guy to look at. I'm surprised we haven't heard more from Hudson Card out there as well. We'll see. And then DJU, I think he's headed out west somewhere. But what's interesting about that is UCLA kind of making some moves elsewhere in the quarterback portal. I don't know. I think he's got his eyes on the West Coast, but I do think he'd be a good fit at Florida. I just don't know if there's some mutual interest there.
Okay, I love it. Texas Ed, I think Oregon State would be a great place to land for the quarterback. Hashtag Ask Brandy says, should college football move some of the major personnel things to after the bowl season, like the recruiting window, transfer portal, maybe a little bit of the coaching carousel?
They got to figure something out. I don't know what the answer is there. I think the transfer portal, everything has good intentions, but the transfer portal thing and the timing of it, it's just brutal on the coaches. It's brutal on the players. And the other thing is it's very, very unfair to the high school recruits. Some of these high school recruits, they go into the month of December, they're like getting talked to every day. You're our number one recruit, commit to us. And then 2 weeks later, they could find out, hey, we don't really have a spot for you right now because we just brought in 5 transfers and 2 of them are at your position. And would you be interested in gray shirting? That's not good for the high school recruits. So you're ramping up the timeline for a lot of these high school kids to commit. And also, you better be signing on this early signing day here this week on Wednesday, or you probably will not have a spot come February.
No, that's the thing. I mean, if you better be just an absolute stud to wait until February to sign, because it's not like, I think some people think the new rule is that, they added scholarships. No, they didn't. they said you can sign more than 25 in a class, but it doesn't add to the 85 that's already on the roster. So those spots, and if I'm a coach, transfer portal with NIL is free agency. That's what it is. It's just like the NFL. You are paying for a proven commodity as a player. I know what that player can do in college. Getting a high school kid with NIL, it's like the draft. I'm projecting that player and what he's going to be. So I'm with you, Brandon. I think they got to change the timeline, especially with the new signing period. It's not even the early signing period anymore. That is the signing period in December. But please, Brandon, tell everybody where they can find your work. Love getting you on, my friend. Always excited talking to you. And you're the inaugural man of Grade That Higher. So congratulations on that as well.
Well, thank you very much. I hope I got at least a C myself for my grades.
I'm giving you a B+ at least right now.
Well, good. 247sports.com and signing days Wednesday. We're having a transfer portal palooza a couple of weeks ago, and now it's signing day chaos. So here we are.
Definitely. Well, make sure you check out 247 and Brandon Marcello. Brandon, appreciate it, my friend. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, YouTube, what's up? You know the best present you can give us? Hitting that subscribe button. Because if you don't, I'm calling Santa, and your kids are getting nothing.